with the mole's murder of Shintani. The police begin to suspect Yagami and subpoena him. The cases of both past and present become a volatile mix at the ADDC. At one point, the land it sits on had been the target of a redevelopment scheme. And behind that plan, the Kansai-based construction company, the Kajihira Group, and its chairman, Shigeru Kajihira.
That old man is the person responsible for all 10,000 employees in the Kajihira Group. Shigeru Kajihira.
So he's the guy.
You're familiar with Hattori-san here, yes? He's told me a great deal about you, Yagami-san.
Me?
He even clued me in on the perfect way to get inside your head.
You better not be talking about Mafia-chan.
As I understand it, you two are practically family. The young lady is quite fond of you, you know.
I take it you're the one who gave Shioya the order to kidnap her then?
I wanted to see what you were capable of.
Huh?
Now that I know the Kure clan will leave you alone, I can guarantee that.
Let me guess. There's a condition?
There's something I'd like you to do. A job only a detective can handle.
Here we go.
A year ago, I set in motion a plan to redevelop a massive plot of land owned by the Ministry of Health.
Yeah, I know. Hattori-san's article told me as much.
Sharp. Our plan was to take over the entire medical institute. That's enough land there for 3 or 4 Kamurochos. So I struck a deal with Minister Kazami and bought up the surrounding properties for next to nothing. All that remained was closing down the ADDC and the other arms of the institute. But I don't have enough time on this planet to wait for that to just happen naturally. So I turned to a man named Hashiki.
Here's a shot of the man.
At the time, Hashiki was the vice director of the ADDC. But tempting him to join me was easy enough. But soon we were working together to sabotage the center.
Sabotage?
Yes, he drove out the ADDC's most promising talent and sold their cutting-edge research to rival labs. He performed his part admirably.
Sounds like a real douchebag, if you ask me.
So you're saying you bought off a government official?
Yes, and it was easy. But then, just as the ADDC was on its last legs, something breathed life back into it.
Which was?
AD9. Minister Kazami did a complete 180. He took Kido's side and vowed to keep the center open. That drug ruined the whole damn operation.
And where's Hashiki now?
Dead.
What?
He was beaten to death some 6 months ago.
Somebody murdered the vice director of the ADDC?
They're still not sure who was responsible. The cops wrote it off as a drunken brawl, and that was the end of it. Yagami-san, I want you to investigate Hashiki's death. I have reason to believe it was premeditated.
What makes you think that? You sound pretty sure.
He was suspicious of AD9. Thought it was all a hoax.
A hoax? But why?
Just when we started talking about closing the center, along came this revolutionary new drug to save the day. The timing was too convenient. That's what Hashiki thought, at least. He was sure that there was more to AD9 than met the eye. So he did some digging, and not long after, he was murdered.
Are you saying Director Kido bumped him off? That's a pretty serious accusation.
If that were the case, I'd still be able to shutter the center. The redevelopment project would begin anew, and all my investments would finally turn a profit. But as of right now, I'm 100 billion in the red.
That's a lot of money.
I can't leave that large an investment on the table.
No wonder you're so hung up.
The ADDC is hiding something. I'm sure of it. And that lawyer, Shintani, was close to figuring out what. At least until he got his eyes gouged out. Things are not all they seem to be at the ADDC. And if that's the case, you must want to know the truth too, Yagami-san. That's why I came to you. There's nobody else I could ask to do this.
Hattori-san. Mafuyu almost got kidnapped thanks to you. Anything you want to say?
Chairman Kajihira pretty much kidnapped me, too. Going after your girl wasn't my idea. I was just looking out for myself.
Still feels like you owe us an apology. That guy's the fucking worst.
Hey, shouldn't we roll out of here? Our friend's just about waking up.
Good point. Let's go. Yeah, name's Hashiki. Used to be vice director of the ADDC. Mm-hmm. Murdered in Kamurocho 6 months ago. Sorry to spring this on you, Hoshino. Think you could get all that for me by tomorrow? Okay, thanks.
Well, looks like that's it for today. See you at Genda's tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Night, boys.
Yagami-san,
What's up, Sugira?
I was just thinking, teaming up with you was the right call. Should make some progress on my investigation now that Kajihira himself is out in the open.
I wouldn't have saved Mafuyu without you either. Thanks again.
No prob. Let me know if anything else comes up.
I heard the Kyorei clan attacked Mafuyu last night.
You already talked to her?
Yeah. She seemed happy. Probably because you came to the rescue.
Yagami-san.
Is Genda-sensei still out of commission?
No, he'll be here this afternoon. He didn't sound very energetic when we spoke, though.
Gotcha.
Anyway, back to what you asked me last night. I looked into Hashiki's murder.
Hold up. I want to hear this too.
Toru Hashiki, former vice director of the ADDC. 51 years old at the time of his death 6 months ago. Found lying face down in a Kamurocho back alley in the middle of the night. He was unconscious, horribly beaten. He died in the hospital 3 weeks later.
It took that long?
Yes. Apparently he was comatose the entire time.
Were there any witnesses?
Not to the crime itself, no. However, quite a few people saw Hashiki in a drunken argument beforehand. With a man in a black raincoat. And that's all we know about the culprit.
A black raincoat?
As far as I can tell, the police never found him, but who knows how hard they looked, right? And well, that's all I could find. Little more than a general overview.
Thanks, Hoshino-kun. This is great for now.
Kajihira claimed Hashiki's murder was premeditated, yes?
Huh? Yeah, that's right.
But there's no evidence to support it whatsoever.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. If the culprit intended to kill Hashiki, wouldn't he have finished the job? Seems kind of sloppy. On the other hand, if it was just an unfortunate run-in, the circumstances would make more sense.
I don't know. I think it's the other way around.
Huh?
If you ask me, whoever killed Hashiki was a freaking pro.
What makes you say that?
Yes, do tell.
Just look at the end result. Hoshki died and whoever's responsible got away with it. Now imagine if the cops found him dead in that alley. That alone would be cause for investigation. If he's just unconscious, though, it's easier to just call it a street brawl and move on. I mean, that's just another day in Kamurocho, right?
True enough. I suppose the incident never made the news because his death didn't come until so much later. Despite how well known he was in the scientific community, that is.
So the killer beat Hoshki until he sustained a fatal wound, then backed off? Is such a thing even possible?
It is if you're a pro. Guys that good totally exist. It's just rare to see it happen. Know what I mean?
I admit it would make sense, but we can't say for sure without evidence.
More or less.
What kind of evidence do you mean?
Something like an investigation report. I want to know the cause of death. Which I guess means another visit to our old friend Ayabe, huh?
I'm way ahead of you. Called him myself last night, but
what?
his hands are tied because of all this Kuroiwa business.
Should have known.
We got someone else coming in his place, though. Meeting at the same place as before. Lamont. You're gonna come, right?
Sure, let's do it.
Looks like we got some company.
Mm-hmm.
Hold up. These guys are Matsugane.
Weird. I don't think they're too happy with us.
Oh, yeah? Well, what gave it away?
Maybe they think we're working with the Kyorei clan.
Either way, doesn't look like they want to talk it over.
Really, guys?
Come on, Taco. Let's get out of here.
Right.
Let's roll, Taco.
Do I know you, or...
Hyakumi-kun, can you seriously not tell it's me?
Wait, who? What the heck? Mafuyu?
I hate to break it to you, but when a woman comes on that strong, she's not after what you think she is.
Right. Anyway, what are you doing here?
Here's the investigation report on Hoshki's murder. This is what you want, right?
You took it from the prosecutor's office? Isn't that, problematic?
Hence the disguise. Think it's okay to hand it over here? This is really intense.
All right, try to stay calm.
It's okay. Think of it as a thank you for saving me yesterday. One more thing. regarding Prosecutor Izumida.
Hmm?
They're planning to arrest you, under suspicion of murdering Shintani-sensei. I suggest you figure something out quick.
Will do. Thanks.
Bye then.
Who was that? She was smoking.
That was Ayabe's replacement.
Huh? What do we got here? This is the investigation report. From Hashki's murder.
Mafuyu stole it from the prosecutor's office.
Mafuyu-chan? Are you saying that woman was her?
Yeah, I just made the same mistake.
You should check this stuff out, Tak.
This is Hashiki's resume. Looks like he was pretty well educated.
They brought him on as vice director 4 years ago. Meaning, he was already with the ADDC when you were busting your ass defending Okubo.
Seems like he and Kido were responsible for deciding how much money to give each project. Hashiki had more influence than I realized.
This here is a map of the crime scene. Hashiki was found lying here. An hour before that, he was seen drinking at a cabaret. This one, place called the Queen Rouge. They charge an arm and a leg, but hell if they don't make bank off it.
Was Hashiki drinking alone while he was there?
Nah, looks like one of his colleagues was with him. Wait, it was that guy, Shono.
So the two of them came all the way from the center just to grab a few drinks. The question is, why?
Beats me. After they left the club, Shono grabbed a cab by himself. He claims he went back to the center and had a chat with Kido. The taxi company's records back that up.
Meaning Shono has an alibi. Kido too.
Yep. As for Hashiki, he had an argument with a man in a black raincoat. Then they found him on the ground, shit beat out of him. 3 weeks later, he was dead.
That's horrible.
Cause of death was a cerebral contusion due to blunt trauma. The culprit hit him 14, maybe 15 times. No fingerprints, so he must have been wearing gloves.
All right. I think we understand how it all went down.
So, what's our next move?
I want to take a little field trip. See for ourselves where they found Hashiki. The Queen Rouge is right near there too. Kaito-san, mind playing the part of Hashiki?
Guess not. He was round here, yeah? How's this?
Wow, you look so lifeless. You could get a job doing this.
Oh, shut up.
Okay, so, 6 months ago, just past 11 p.m., Hashiki and Shono finish drinking. Shono gets in a cab. Hashiki stays and argues with a man in a raincoat, after which he was found here, beaten half to death.
But Shono got in the cab on Showa Street. Meaning Hashiki and his friend went somewhere else just so they could have their little scuffle.
It's definitely quieter here. Maybe this is always where the murderer planned to kill Hashiki.
And what makes you say that?
I don't know. Just a hunch.
Big Mr. Detective. Anyway, I think we got all we can. Nothing's gonna be left from 6 months ago.
Yeah, you're right. So,
There's a leak in the prosecutor's office. Pretty sure it's a woman. Got her hands on some pretty important case files. The ones about the vice director of the ADDC getting beaten to death in the street. You have any ideas?
sorry, not a clue.
What kind of lowlife would sell police secrets? Shh. Scum. Right, Ayabe?
Totally. The worst.
Nobody takes us seriously around here.
That all you came to ask? I'm sure you guys are just as busy as I am. So, if you're finished, I'm gonna have to ask you to...
Right. Izumida wants to talk to you tomorrow. About Shintani's murder. You'll be there. In cuffs if need be.
Why am I being treated like a suspect?
Sorry, that's classified. Just drop by the public prosecutor's office. If you're innocent, you'll have nothing to worry about.
You don't want to deal with getting arrested. Trust me. Better to handle this before it gets to that point. Think of it like that.
Thanks for the advice.
Besides, you and Izumida go way back.
But how am I gonna defend myself if I don't know why he suspects me? Let me guess. I'll find out when I get there.
More or less. Who knows what angle Izumida will take.
Have it your way. I'll come in and clear the air and we'll be done with this.
I'll be in touch tomorrow.
Asshole's been dragging me everywhere. I can't do a damn thing on my own.
I can tell. Looks rough.
Hello, Yagami-san?
Hey, any luck?
Yes. I made friends with the girl who served Hoshiki 6 months ago. We're gonna bounce and go to Tender in a few.
Perfect. Wait, did you just say bounce? This is the man you served 6 months ago? You're certain?
Yeah, that's him.
We already discussed Hoshiki and Shono. Mika-san was at their table, without a doubt.
That's Shono-san, right?
Yeah. What were they like?
I guess nothing stood out about them more than any other pair of businessman types. Hoshiki-san complained about his boss, while Shono-san just nodded and smiled.
What was Hoshiki saying?
He was going on and on about this Kido-san guy. Have you heard about that new dementia drug, 89?
Yeah, I'm kind of familiar.
Not surprised. They used to talk about it on TV a bunch. Anyway, apparently Kido-san's kind of a big shot guy on the 89 research team.
And Hoshiki and Shono were talking shit about him?
Yeah. Sounds like Kido-san was getting wined and dined by all sorts of people who wanted to profit off 89. From what I heard, not all those deals were above board.
Secret deals, huh? Is Kido-san working with the Yakuza?
Hoshiki-san didn't give specifics, but he did say 89 could buy a lot of influence. And about the cut he'd be getting later. He seemed like a really shady guy.
How was Shono acting that night at the club?
Well, he spent most of the night staring at my chest. Hoshiki-san kept going on about Kido-san all the same, though.
Maintain eye contact, Yagami-san.
Shono-san seemed more interested in being a creep than indulging him, though.
You don't think he was listening to Hoshiki-san then?
Nope. Didn't seem like it.
Disgruntled boss on one side, closet perv on the other.
But then, out of the blue, Hoshiki-san said this.
There's something fishy going on with 89, I just know it.
Did he have any idea what it was?
What did he say again? Something about fabrication or falsification?
Data fabrication? Falsifying the effects of the drug?
Yeah, that was it. He kept going on about how 89 was too good to be true. And how weird it is that it just came out of nowhere.
So he brought Shono to the club to try and figure out if 89 was real.
Right.
What did Shono say?
Just, there's nothing fishy about it.
But then Hoshiki-san yelled back,
I don't believe that for a second.
It was kinda awkward seeing how desperate he was.
Makes sense he'd be desperate, though.
Why?
He promised this guy Kajihira he'd shut down the ADDC. Thanks for this, Mika-chan. You must be exhausted.
That's all of it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
What time's your shift start tomorrow, Saori-san?
Sorry. I'm not...
Huh?
It was a one-night thing. I got to see a side of myself I didn't know I had, though.
Man, this stinks. You're so pretty, Saori-san, and I was pumped to learn more from you.
I don't think I have much left to teach. I might be able to help you, though. As a friend.
You're a lawyer?
Let me know if you ever get into trouble.
Wow, I've never been friends with a lawyer before. This is like super cool. Thanks so much. Bye now.
That was amazing, Saori-san. You really pulled through for us.
It's fine.
Come on, I'll walk you back to the office. I want to review what we learned with Hoshino-kun and the others.
Sure.
Welcome back. You're so beautiful, Saori-san.
Like a puppy.
You should dress like that all the time, Saori-kun.
Yeah, good luck finding clients.
I'm changing.
There's a good chance Hashki's murder was premeditated, just like Chairman Kajihira suspected.
That's the conclusion you and Saori-kun reached?
Yeah, Hashki thought something was up with 89, doubted the authenticity of the research, seemed convinced they had fabricated data. He was desperately searching for proof before he died.
But was there anything actually wrong with it?
I tried analyzing the paper myself to find out, but it's like it was written in a different language. I'm searching for someone more knowledgeable as we speak, but nobody seems to suspect any foul play, not even online.
Yet Hashki was still searching for issues, and if he had managed to find one...
The ADDC would be long gone by now.
Then they murdered Hashki to keep the secret safe?
Don't be ridiculous. Who would kill a man just to protect a research paper?
It might not be as unlikely as you think. The ADDC has been bringing in billions of government yen ever since they published that paper. With that much cash involved, bumping someone off wouldn't be out of the question.
The question is, who killed Hashki?
A professional assassin, if I had to guess. The man in the black raincoat.
If he was an assassin, that would mean someone hired him.
Yeah. Someone who wanted to protect 89 and the ADDC.
But who?
Can't begin to imagine. But apparently Kido was out hyping up 89, raking in tons of dirty money in the process. Guy might even be involved with the Yakuza.
You're really suspicious of him, Yagami-san.
Well, if it looks like a rat.
Maybe Shintani got too close to the truth, and Kido offed him for it.
The thought has crossed my mind. Don't think we can say that for sure without looking more into Kido, though.
But judging from our last visit, that won't be as easy as you make it sound. He's practically a celebrity at this point.
Well, maybe if we can't get him to talk, prosecutor's office can.
Huh? What do you mean?
I've got a meeting with Izumita tomorrow. They're calling me in.
Isn't that the prosecutor who was trying to get you arrested?
He can try all he wants. That's what this meeting's about.
No chance in hell he agrees to help us then.
All depends on how this little chat goes. If I can convince him I'm innocent, I'll clear my name and put the squeeze on Kido all in one fell swoop.
What are you planning, Yagami-san?
Yo. Got a message for you from Kuroiwa. Says to drop by the Tokyo Public Prosecutor's office. Izumita's waiting for you.
Why'd you have to come here to tell me that? Would have been easier to talk on the phone.
I got a bad feeling about all this.
Huh?
Feels like I'm never gonna see you again if you get yourself locked up now.
Come on, don't be like that. Even if I do get arrested, I won't say a word about your little side job. That's what you're worried about, right?
Yep. I might have to send someone to bump you off in prison if you rat me out.
Like you could pull that off. Aren't you busy dusting off Kuroiwa's boots?
I'm laying low, that's all.
Speaking of, I have a question for you now that you're off your leash. Why do they think I killed Shintani? They have to have a reason, right? You've gotta know.
Well, funny enough, I don't. Kuroiwa won't share a shred of info with anyone but his closest partners. Not sure why.
Gotcha.
Now, get over to the prosecutor's office. Sorry, but you gotta cover your own cab fare.
Yeah, I know.
I've been waiting for you, Yagami-san.
Rolling out the red carpet, huh?
Izumita was hoping you'd lower your guard if I was the first person you saw here.
The man never changes. He loves his mind games.
Yagami-kun, how did they convince you to come?
I heard your pal Izumita wants to chat. And depending on what I say, he may or may not try to arrest me.
I'm not sure it'll be quite like that.
Huh? Then what's it gonna be?
Well, you're about to get thrown to the wolves.
Hey, Mafuyu.
Good luck. Excuse me. I've brought Yagami-san.
Much appreciated.
Huh. Even the chief prosecutor's in on this.
Please come in.
So these are the wolves. A room full of prosecutors, huh?
Yagami-sensei, I believe Kuroiwa-san already told you this, but we want to talk to you about Shintani-sensei's murder. However, this is not a courtroom. And we're not strangers, or wolves. Just try to relax.
Yeah, relax, right. I'm not telling you what you want to hear, though. You want me to say I killed Shintani, right? Sorry, not happening. The burden of proof's on you, anyway. So why don't we start there? Why do you think I did it?
Yagami-sensei, where were you on the night of Shintani-sensei's murder?
Answer my question with another question? That's not very nice.
Do you have an alibi for that evening?
You heard of a company called KJ Art? The place is a front for some Kansai Yakuza, the Kyorei clan. On the night of the crime, I was near there with their captain, Shioya. He'll back my story up, I'm sure.
And care to explain why Shintani-sensei's corpse was found in your office?
I was hoping you could tell me. Maybe the real killer could answer that for you.
Naturally. That's why I called you here.
Mind if I interject?
Go right ahead, Morita-san.
Yagami-san, you stole a look at Shintani-sensei's call history before the police arrived, yes? Not long before his death, he placed a call to the Advanced Drug Development Center. Knowing that, you barged into the center and interrogated both Kido-san and Shono-san. Why would you do such a thing?
I wanted to figure out what made Shintani a target, who wanted him dead.
Is that not the police's job?
I couldn't leave it to them, or the prosecution. After all, you guys have a bad habit of going after the wrong guy. Kinda like right now.
I see. So you mean to imply someone else killed Shintani-sensei? Do you have anything that could prove that claim?
The burden of proof rests on the prosecution. It's not my place to take on such a heavy responsibility.
There's no need to be like that, Yagami-san. As we said before, this isn't a courtroom. It'd be an honor to hear your thoughts on the matter.
Oh yeah? How about someone says please? Please. Great. I'll tell you what I know. Before we get to Shintani's murder, there are a few things I need to cover. 1 year ago, the ADDC published a research paper on a new drug they were developing called 89. This drug has gained global recognition as the thing that may finally cure Alzheimer's disease. What hasn't gained recognition is the fact that someone from the ADDC was murdered 6 months ago.
An ADDC member murdered? Who?
The vice director, Toru Hashiki. Hashiki was seen arguing with a strange man in Kamurocho before being found lying beaten in the street. He died in the hospital 3 weeks later. The culprit is still at large. Did you know of this case?
It's the first I've heard of it.
Understandable. It didn't make many headlines. Incidentally, this Hashiki guy had a pretty big secret.
Uh-huh.
Turns out he was working for the Kajihira Group, a massive construction company based out of Kansai. Kajihira was planning to redevelop the land the ADDC sits on. He'd already settled it with the Minister of Health, had the Kyorei clan muscle in on the turf too. But the plan fell apart when 89 was announced. Kajihira ended up taking a pretty big hit, to the tune of 100 billion yen.
What?
That's when Hashiki came in, swearing to Kajihira that he'd scuttle 89, no matter what it took. Just before he was beaten half to death, Hashiki went out with another member of the ADDC. Someone deeply involved in the development of 89. Someone he thought he could manipulate. I'm sure you recognize this man, Izumida-san. 3 years ago, he testified about the murder that had taken place at the ADDC. He claimed he had seen the victim, a patient by the name of Waku, still alive.
I remember him. You're referring to Dr. Shono?
Mm-hmm. He's also the head of the 89 research team. Hashiki was grilling Shono, convinced that there was something fishy going on with 89.
Like what?
He thought they had fabricated data and falsified the effects of the drug. After all, it wasn't until rumors of closing the ADDC started swirling that Director Kido suddenly announced 89. Hashiki was convinced it was all too convenient to be coincidence. But that doubt didn't sit well with those who stood to rake in massive profits off 89's development.
Are you implying Hashiki's murder was premeditated?
Sounds like we're finally on the same page, Izumida-san. I had the exact same thought. Taking all this into account, doesn't it seem like there really is something fishy about 89? But let's get back to Shintani. Just before he was murdered, he called the ADDC and tried to get in touch with a very specific someone. Maybe that phone call provoked whoever is trying to hide the truth about 89. Shintani was an obstacle, just like Hashiki. He had to be removed. What I'm saying is, there's a chance anyone who gets too close to learning the true nature of 89 is being murdered. And if you haven't investigated down that path, then one thing's pretty clear. You have a lot more work to do before you can arrest me, wouldn't you say? Answer me, Izumida! If you still want to bring me in, let's see some proof. All these prosecutors, and nobody's got any proof.
That's quite a theory, Yagami-san. Truly fascinating. There were details in there even we weren't aware of. You've clearly done your homework.
I'd be glad to hand over my findings if it'll help. After all, 89's practically a household name at this point. Lifting the lid on it might be too much for me to handle all on my own. And besides, I think I'd rather work with you than Izumida here.
You need to lose the attitude, Yagami.
Sorry, I need to take this. Yes, hello? Is that so? Yes, you've done excellent work. Thank you. Just so you're aware, the prosecution has made a coordinated effort with law enforcement. We've already submitted a request for the court to issue a warrant. I'm sorry for the call, but that was the verification of our request, you see.
You're still gonna arrest me after all this, huh?
Fortunately, you're not the one under arrest.
What?
I wouldn't celebrate. We're not done with you just yet. It's in the interest of closing the case.
Listen here, Yagami. You know who Shintani's killer was? It's your old friend, Ayabe.
What?
Striations on the recovered bullet are a perfect match to his firearm. There's no doubt. He's the one. Like it or not, he's going down.